Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Friday Tea with JG. Today I'm here with the pastor of New Community Church in Hobart/Maple Valley. Ken, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Ken Mitchell, and I am the pastor of New Community Church. Started it with a family church, and it's still a family church, but over 30 years now, and it's I think we're 30-year birthday. It's this last year, so we're celebrating that, and just are intending to keep reaching community. That's why how we connected.
Yes, yeah,
because we're both community minded.
Yeah. It was funny. I met Ken because I was kind of looking around and I wanted to meet the pastor, but he had just gotten done doing a bike ride. And his colleague who he was riding with
was much faster.
Was out here waiting, and I started chatting with him, and Ken comes rolling up exhausted and sweaty, and we just started chatting, and I learned a lot about the church that I hadn't known. So Maple Valley and Hobart has about 15, 16 denominational churches, and this one, you know, when you move to the community, you're gonna hear a lot about different places you can go. Well, this location is gorgeous. Historically, community people here have called it the church in the barn. And I'll show you some footage of the barn later, but this property that they are on is, how large is this property?
It's 44 acres, and then the green belt makes it a 60-some acre feel. Because when it became a golf course, they negotiated, but you know that kind of feel to it. Nice walking trails and things like that. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful, and you know, one of the things that I loved about it when I was first introduced to it was I wanted to do a little training with my dogs, and so I saw these green fields and I saw these hills, and we pulled in, and I was like, oh no, is somebody going to say something to me? And I walked over to the front and I knocked, hey, can I take my dog? It's like, yeah, go do your thing. It's a park, exactly. And so I loved it. And it's gorgeous. And again, I will show you some images of the property later. But Ken, help us understand, tell us about New Community.
Right.
I've seen a lot of New Community churches in the general King County area coming up. So help us understand about New Community.
Well, our name is New Community in a variety of ways. One is we want to be a part of the community. The other part is obviously spiritual, wanting Christ to be in that community as well. But one of the neat things about, you mentioned it, 14 different churches. This region that you may move to or whatever it may be is amazing ecumenically and also just community-wise. So whether we're all working together with the school district, Black Diamond Police just used our property yesterday for their regional meeting. And so that's kind of our passion, is to be for the community. Our next building is going to be called the For Center. So it's not just for us, but it's that direction as well. And then the church is really neat. If you're looking for a church, what's really cool about 25 years of friendship and a huddle to a certain degree, we gather as pastors and pray every week, is that there's not this little bit of a competition or anything else, but just how can we get you connected in the best place? And they all have that attitude. So you can come to XYZ church and say, I'm really looking for something like this, or a little mellower music or a little wilder music or whatever it may be. We'll help you find a place. And that's one of my lines, is how can I help you find the best place for you in the church? But the other side of it is we're super involved, us churches, in homelessness. It started by Maple Place years ago, and the food bank. The entire church community is involved in helping volunteer, either in Maple Valley or in the Covington area. One church started their own food bank. Wow. So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. You talk a lot about community, and I feel as a non-housed Christian, that community is incredibly important.
Right.
And you touched a little bit about it, on it a little bit, but help us understand what New Community is doing within the community of Hobart and Maple Valley.
Right. And part of that is, so when we consider like opportunities to connect. Traditional church would be opportunities to connect in your own church. So you'd have your own people, you would connect with them and them alone. And a community visionary church is going to say, hey, let's connect with those that we can come alongside. So for instance, our safety team is led by a gentleman, Ty Moore, who has now created a network of safety for schools, for the shopping areas that we have, and is very entrenched. So sometimes we'll just go alongside. In that case, we're a little bit ahead of the game and can train. Sometimes we follow and are the caboose, to a certain degree, in learning ourselves. We have a program which is really fun. It's every year we just tease our congregation. Everybody give $39.95, $40, and people give more, people give less. It's not a big deal, but the money that we raise isn't for missions. We have one. We go to Africa. We care for for the church and kids in Africa, but it's strictly in this region, and it's preferably not necessarily Christian. Right. Some are, by Maple Place is a little of both. Food Bank is not. Food Bank is government owned, in the GO or whatever it's called that way. But we'll infiltrate that way, but we'll also with our time as well. So it's not just our money coming. That's kind of fun to support and giving gift of need. They needed a new freezer a few years back at the Food Bank, and we just blew them away with a check that way across the street. We're connected with Toma Elementary that way as well. But we're also that way for an emergency field. And so there's a trust with the school district, and then there's a trust with us that way. And then we'll also do general cleanup, highway cleanup, park cleanups, our churches holistically as well. So we want to dive in the community, and and this is an amazing thing. We've got Christian friends or consultants who'll come our way and say, you guys need to do things together. And then they find out what we're doing. Like, wow, you're king of the hill in the state of Washington, and you're already doing it. We're learning from you. That's how. What's the vision? So, but it's true of the other churches as well, and how they come together. So sometimes we learn, and sometimes we lead.
And so because we are talking about church, help us understand what is the difference between and I'll use Catholicism because everybody kind of knows. Let's just say that's the North, and everything kind of goes around that. So help us understand New Community's philosophy.
Our philosophy is generally to be a light on the hill. I think Jesus even talked about that. Let people see their good works so that they can go, oh, that's a Christian, and not the other way around. I'm a Christian, and you not be shocked. Well, you couldn't tell me by what you're doing. Right. A neighbor I am. It's to be a light in the hill that way and have that impact. We would call those who don't know Jesus at all just somebody, and they come and check us out. But our language will always talk to both ends. We'll say, like, we're in a book of Hebrews, which is a deep book about Christians and how they should behave. And I'll always tease every week we're talking about is, hey, if you're just checking Jesus out, and or even just kind of curious, or your friend just dragged you here and they promised to buy you lunch, that kind of thing, is what. It's your week not to worry at all. It's just to be able to, this is what your friend should be doing. They should be generous. They should be serving of their time, not only in their community, but also in their church. And they should be doing this, and you should see that and to have a connection in their own neighborhood. So I go, you can judge. You can give us a grade. Right. And your friends' grades that way too. So that's our uniqueness, is probably the ability to go, we don't want to be just a holy huddle, but we want to be out there in the community and seen as a positive influence, either friendship-wise only. Because the thing about Jesus versus evangelists, right? Evangelists want you saved to get you dunked, that kind of thing. But Jesus cared for people whether they followed him or not. One time he healed 10, and he goes, where are the other 9? Because only one came back and said thank you, but he healed 10, right? And so it wasn't a matter of just, I'm only going to find the thankful people and care for them, or the Christians and care for them, but we also want to be an impact flat out. And there's a synergy and a trust that we've seen here in Maple Valley because of that.
That is awesome. You do hear a lot of people who talk about their Christianity without showing their Christianity. And so hearing that a church is coming from that other direction is really saying, hey, we don't need to tell you who we are. We're just going to show you who we are.
You need to get them. You can preach next week.
Thank you. I really do like that.
So how large is the community? How large is the congregation?
Our church body is about 700 on an average annual, and then we have our highs and lows. Our big events that we'll have. Holistically, there's a couple thousand people that call us their church, but on just an average basis, that's counting pregnant women twice, and all kids.
So as you look to the next, let's say 1 to 5 years, what are some of the things that you're kind of thinking of bringing to the community? Change?
Great timing on that question. I alluded to it a little bit. Is we had always planned for a building. We actually do church in a house, a tent in the barn right now. It's a really cool barn and a really cool campus, but we have a rectangle, an actual, coming up. And in the next 5 years, that our vision is for that to be equally used as the barn is. The barn is, an amazing wedding venue, and it's been used for lots of nonprofits that come our way. Even, as I mentioned, our Africa ministry uses it every year, and those things. But it'd be nice to have a building that is simply called the For Center, because we're for community, we're for Maple Valley, we're for Hobart, we're for Covington, and that we can be hosts to the community by having something. When I first got here, there wasn't a lot. In fact, it was either a high school gym or one church that had a decent sized gathering place. And so for our greater Maple Valley area, it would be nice to have another facility for, the needs of the community and also the needs of the.
That's really cool. So it's going to be almost like a little event center?
Yeah, exactly. The vision that way, and it'll obviously need somebody to run that. A lot of times that type of vision will need, somebody to manage it all and stuff like that. But that's down the road. We should be breaking ground next year. So we have enough plans. It's just COVID to have that 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and we're moving.
Yeah.
Excited about it.
When I was walking up here, I saw, I think it said Kids Country or something like that.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's the theme for our children's ministries. When I grew up, we called it Sunday school. Sorry, you got banged on that thing.
Things happen.
Been there,
take care of them. Post. Yeah,
exactly. But that is our kids' ministry, and it's designed for them to enter into that environment and to be connected by the fun of imagination and, biblical characters as well. But so, Kids Country is, we used to call Sunday school, was kind of a boring title.
Sure.
But this day and age, it's one time I had a friend and she was going to go to another church, but they came as a guest and they were still kind of looking around. And I said that line, let me help you find the right place. And this other church was definitely a better place, worship style than this. But the poor mom, she comes over and we have a swimming pool, a putt, a children's center that is totally designed for that age. And so, and the kid didn't see the putt, and he saw the swimming pool. He goes, and then he looks and goes, Mom, it's got a putt. And I look at her, I go, I'm sorry. She's going to have to tell him, we're not going there.
That's not our church, honey.
That was really our design for kids, and we have a mega sports camp. It's using this facilities, as you can imagine what we can do. And then, it always ends with a big swimming bash and hot dogs and stuff like that. Last month was Father's Fishing Derby. And so we have a pond, we stock it with fish, and it's a pretty attractional event to bring. So again, a community, because we advertise this way. A lot of times, half the people, I'm not saying, we'll see and we'll meet. Sometimes we'll never see again. In fact, a good portion are just people want to come and fish, and we're okay with that on Father's Day. even though I don't fish. So.
Neither do I. It's okay.
I don't like touching them.
No, I'm not that guy.
I think we just lost people on that right there.
Very much so. That is so.
I really love that you are reaching out and saying, hey, you don't even have to be a member, but just come and have some fun with it. Come and enjoy our facilities. Because again, it's more about showing than speaking.
It is.
What are some of the other events that you will probably be having, let's say, for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we kind of do things seasonally. In the summer, we'll do fun in small avenues. We'll call them fun groups. And pretty much I do it backwards. I create the fun groups, the ideas of fun groups, have people sign up, and then find a leader afterwards. It's a little bit backwards. It should be backwards, but it's pretty much, John, do you ride bikes? Yeah, I go, great. The one you saw was actually just 2 of us, but there were like 20 people signed up to go cycling. And so my only ask is, hey, pray for safety or pray for fun, opening with Jesus that way. But it really is designed in the summer just to have a blast connecting this way, even more so than this way. God wants it both, right?
Right.
So we'll go down to ride to Starbucks, way back, down to Renton, and have coffee and come back. That's that group. Wine and cheese night is packed. Shocking, wine and cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll do these different axe throwing night with the guys. They're doing something that's small, and then we'll do large, school, what I call church season and school season kind of go together.
Yeah.
We'll pull off your classic. We've done different things for Halloween. When this building was not remodeled, we had pretty cool haunted house here.
Yeah.
And paintball wars and stuff like that. But what we do recently is just a basic fall fun festival and the candy thing and stuff. And then in Christmas is pretty cool. All the way to Christmas is. That massive tree lights up.
Oh yeah,
the community icon to see that, and we'll connect just again with both what you would call Christian and secular. Secularness meaning flat out fun, like we all do. And that Santa comes, believe it or not, he takes time off in December to come to New Community Church, and free photos. You come, free family pictures, and again just to serve the community. And there's a nativity scene that we've done as well. So it's kind of a neat blend, a lot of fun and a lot of free food and stuff like that. So again, let's get to the community, because that's what, to me, the church should be about more than let's take from the community, that kind of stuff.
Wow, that is awesome. There is a lot that New Community really brings to the community. And I think that if you're looking for a place that you can call home in the Maple Valley Hobart area, it's a good place to start. You might not stay, but you can always seemingly come and visit.
And we will always help you find a place that will fit your needs, for sure.
That's awesome. Ken, I really appreciate you taking the time with me today.
Thank you, John.
It has been a pleasure talking with you. And hey, folks, stop on by New Community Church. I'll put the contact information and details in the comments and in the description. Check it out. You're going to love it.
Pretty sure John said he's going to go bike riding with me next time.
You all have a great rest of your day. Ciao.
When you come on to the campus of a New Community Church, this is what greets your eye. I wonder why it's called the Church in the Barn. Well, there's the old barn. Nice parking lot. But this property is gorgeous. 44 acres of cultivated land, 20-some acres of wetlands that cannot be touched, and there are miles and miles of paths that you can. One of the great things about this property is that you can just come onto the property and hang out, walk your dog, go on a little hike. Go fishing maybe. In the winter time, you roll down the hills. It used to be a golf course, so there's some really cool hills over here that you can go rolling down with your kids. this is the inside of the church and the barn. Yes, it was literally a barn. So when they purchased the property, they converted this into where they would hold their services. Now they still do hold services here, but they have services also outside in a tent area as well. So this is one of the views of the old mansion that's here. And this is another view of the back of the property. Right over there is Highway 18, behind the green space. And there's actually another church right over there. Property is gorgeous. The property has 3 facilities, not including the main house where the offices and things are. Those facilities can be used for community events. You just need to get in contact with the church and schedule it. That's the old mansion. And how cool is it to have a church that has a pool? The facility also has an 18-hole putt-putt course.